Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday the 29th of April 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 1.1% today to finish the week at 7,435 points. It was the second 1% plus day in a row following big falls earlier in the week. All 11 sectors of the index rose, with tech stocks leading the way. The banks did well, but the miners were flat. The gold diggers did well on the back of a higher price for the precious metal. The retailers and several of the property companies were higher, and Telstra closed up 1.8%. Pretty good day all round. The best on the day, though, was bookmaker PointsBet, up 11% after reporting a 54% jump in turnover during the March quarter. It's been sold off pretty hard, so it's good to see a rebound, at least for those shareholders. Another strong performer today was buy now, pay later group Zipco, which jumped more than 7%. Of course, it's the end of the month. During April, the ASX lost a little over 1%. The Aussie dollar finished today at 71.5 US cents. It's down around 5% for the month. That's the largest monthly fall since December last year, but given the greenback is trading at 20-year highs, it ain't too bad. Story number 2. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese was back on the campaign trail today after a week's isolation due to COVID. But his deputy, Richard Marles, now has the virus. Mr Albanese is in Perth, which is where he'll launch Labor's election campaign on Sunday. The cost of living continues to play a role in the campaign, and today the country's energy market operator said power users in Queensland and New South Wales face higher wholesale electricity prices. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who is in Tasmania, is casting the whole cost of living argument as an international problem, not a domestic one. He also criticised his counterpart in the Solomon Islands for being under Beijing's influence. Story number 3. People are still borrowing money. Not quite with their ears pinned back, but still credit figures are pretty robust. Total credit rose 0.4% in March to be up almost 8% year on year, according to the Reserve Bank. Demand for housing and business loans grew, though personal loans dipped last month and were 3.3% lower than March last year. Story number 4. Ramsay Health Care, which last week was subject to a takeover offer, announced a big slide in earnings due to the ongoing impact of COVID, disruptions on staff, patients, and increased costs. The country's largest private hospital owner said net profit was down 39% for the 9 months to March. The good news is that activity levels have started to pick up again as restrictions on elective surgery are lifted. The group's estimated the total impact of COVID so far this financial year at close to $200 million. The disappointing result didn't do much to hurt its share price, which ended down 0.5% today. Of course, helping that share price is the unsolicited $20 billion takeover offer from a KKR-led consortium. And story number 5. There was plenty going on Wall Street this morning. First, figures showed that the US economy contracted during the March quarter. It will be a one-off, reflecting a much stronger US dollar, which hit net exports, and that detracted from growth. In fact, it really was a bit of an anomaly, that number. The annual rate of growth for the US is sitting at 3.6%. The world's largest company, Apple, gave a disappointing outlook, citing rising supply constraints. Mind you, during March, Apple made record sales and profits. The outlook statement dominated investor sentiment, and the tech giant's share price was down 4% in after-hours trading. Then there was Meta Platforms, owner of Facebook. Yesterday, I told you about the surge in subscriber numbers. When shares began trading overnight, Meta's share price jumped 18%. That added about $11 billion to founder Mark Zuckerberg's wealth. Good day in the office. Amazon was also added, projected slower sales growth during the current quarter, triggering a 10% fall in its share price. And finally, Australian-owned Atlassian said it had made a loss during the March quarter, and in after-hours trading, its share price tumbled 16%. Very, very busy day on Wall Street. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 29th of April, 2022. Adam Lang and I will be back tomorrow morning for the weekend edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.